Hello, Shalom. Welcome to this week's Torah portion uh, by Vayigash, meaning and he approached. We'll be reading from Genesis 44:18, which picks up in it's Joseph's story continuation, all the way through 47:27. Ezekiel 37:15 through 28. We'll have two New Testament verses or segments to read. Luke 24:20 through 48, and Acts 3 through 26. We'll be reading out of the Scriptures 2009 version. And okay, so Genesis 44, verse 18, we're picking up from on page 49. And Judah came near to him and said to Joseph, O my master, please let your servant speak a word in my master's hearing, and do not let your displeasure burn against your servant, for you are like Pharaoh. My master asked his servants, saying, You have a father or a brother? Have you a father or a brother? And we said to my master, We have a father, an old man, and a young child of his old age, and his brother is dead. And he alone is left of my mother's children, and his father loves him. And you said to your servants, Bring him down to me, and let me set my eyes on him. And we said to my master, The boy is not able to leave his father, for if he leaves his father shall die. But you said to your servants, Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you shall not see my face again. And it came to be, when he went up to your servant, my father, that we told him the words of my master. And our fathers said, Go back and buy us a little food. But we said, We are not able to go down. If our youngest brother is with us, then we shall go down. For we are not able to see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant, my father, said to us, You know that my wife bore me two sons, and one went out from me, and I said, Truly he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. And if you take this one from me too, and harm comes to him, you shall bring down my gray hair with evil to Sheol. For now I come to your servant, and now I come to you. And now, if I come to your servant with my father, and the boy is not with us, since his own life is bound up in this life, then it shall be, when he sees that the boy is not with us, that he shall die. So your servants shall bring down the gray hair of the servant our father with evil to Sheol. For your servant went guaranteeing for the boy to my father, saying, If I do not bring him back to you, then I shall be a sinner before my father forever. And now please let your servant remain instead of the boy as a slave to my master, and let the boy go up with his brothers. For now do I go up to my father. For how do I go up to my father if the boy is not with me, lest I see the evil that would come upon my father? 45. And Joseph was unable to restrain himself before all those who stood by him. And he called out, Have everyone go out from me. So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the ministers in the house of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers were unable to answer him, for they trembled before him. Then Joseph said to his brothers, Please come near to me. And when they came near, he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Mizraim. And now, do not be grieved, nor displeased with yourselves, because you sold me here. For Elohim has sent me here before you to preserve life. For 2 years now, the scarcity of food has been in the land. It's supposed to be 7, so we have 5 more years. And there are still 5 years in which there is neither plowing nor harvesting. And Elohim sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant in the earth, and to give life to you by a great escape. So then, you did not send me here, but Elohim, and he has sent me for a father to Pharaoh, and a master of all his house, and ruler throughout all the land of Mizraim. Hurry, go up to my father and say to him, Thus says your son Joseph, Elohim has made me master of all Mizraim. Come down to me, do not delay, and you shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and be near to me, you and your children, and your children's children, your flocks, your herds, and all that you have. And I shall provide for you there, lest you and your household, and all that you have, come to poverty, because 5 years of scarcity of food are still to come. And I shall provide for you there, lest you and your household, I'll read it again, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, because 5 years of scarcity of food is still yet to come. And look, your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, see, that is in my mouth that speaks to you. You shall inform my father of all my esteem, glory, in Mizraim, and of all you have seen. And you shall hurry and bring my father down here. And he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. And Benjamin wept on his neck. And he kissed all his brothers, wept over them. And after his brothers spoke with him, and the report of it was heard by the house of Pharaoh, saying, The brothers of Joseph have come. And it was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of his servants. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, Say to your brothers, do this. Load your beasts and go. Enter the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households, and come to me. I give you the best of the land of Mizraim, and you eat the fat of the lamb. And you have been commanded to do this. Take wagons out of the land of Mizraim for your little ones and your wives, and you shall bring your father and come. And do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all of the land of Mizraim is yours. And the sons of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the mouth of Pharaoh, and gave them food for the journey. And he gave them all to each man change of garments, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father 10 donkeys loaded with the best of Mizraim, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they left. And he said to them, Do not quarrel along the way. And they went up out of Mizraim, and came to the land of Canaan to Jacob their father. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive. He is governor of all of the land of Mizraim. And Jacob's heart ceased, for he did not believe them. But when they spoke to him all the words of Joseph had spoken to them, and when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to transport him, the spirit of Jacob's father revived. And Israel said, Enough, my son Joseph is still alive. Let me go and see him before I die. 46. And Israel, Jacob, set out with all he had, and came to Beersheba, and slaughtered slaughterings to the Elohim of his father Isaac. And Elohim spoke to Israel, Jacob, in the vision of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am the Elohim of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Mizraim, for I shall make you there into a great nation. I myself am going down with you to Mizraim, and I myself shall certainly bring you up again. And let Joseph put his hand on your eyes. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel brought their father Jacob, and their little ones, and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to transport them. And they took their livestock and their property, which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and came into Mizraim. Jacob and all his seed with him, his sons and his sons' and sons' daughters, and his sons' daughters, and all his seed he brought with him to Mizraim. And these were the names of the children of Israel, Jacob and his sons, who came into Mizraim, Reuben and Jacob's firstborn. And the sons of Reuben, Hanok, and Palul, and Hezron, and Karim. The sons of Simon, Yamal, and Yamin, and Odai, and Yakin, and Shofar, and Saul, son of a Canaanite woman. And the sons of Levi, Gershon, and Queth, and Mereth. And the sons of Judah, and Onan, Salah, Peretz, Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Peretz were Hetzerim and Hemzil. And the sons of Yishkar, Tola and Puala, and Yob and Sharam. And the sons of Zebulun, Shireen and Elon, and Yeholam. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Padanaram with his daughter Dinah. All the beings, his sons and daughters, were 33. And the sons of Gad, Sihon, and Hagamai, and Sunai, and Esbon, Eri, and Arodai, and Ariel. And the sons of Asher, Yimnan, and Yishwa, and Washi, and Bereh, and Surah, their sister. And the sons of Berah, Heber, and Malachi. These were the sons of Zephon, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and those she bore to Jacob 16 beings. The sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, Joseph and Benjamin. And to Joseph in the land of Mizraim was born Manish and Ephraim, whom Anish, the daughter of Potiphar, Podareth, priest of On, bore to him. The sons of Benjamin, Bela and Becher, and Eshbil, Gerha and Namrah, Ebi, Ehi, and Rosh, Mapai, Happai, and Ared. These were the sons of Rachel who were born to Jacob, 14 beings in all. The sons of Dan, Hushman, and the sons of Naphtali, Yasaphiah, and Guni, and Yisur, and Shalim. These were the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, and she bore these to Jacob, 7 beings in all. All the beings who went with Jacob to Mizraim came from his body. Besides Jacob's sons' wives were 66 beings in all. And the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Mizraim were 2 beings. All the beings of the house of Jacob who went to Mizraim were 70. And he sent Judah before him to Joseph to point out before him the way to Goshen, and the way they came to the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. And he appeared to him and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a long time. And Israel said to Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen your face, and you are still alive. And Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, I am going up to inform Pharaoh, and to say to him, My brothers and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me. And the men are shepherds, that they have been men of livestock, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it shall be when Pharaoh calls you and says, What is your occupation? You shall say, Your servants have been men of livestock from our youth even till now, both we and our fathers, so that you dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the midstripes. 47. And then Joseph went and spoke to Pharaoh and said, My father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds, and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan. And now see, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his brothers, What is your occupation? And they said to Pharaoh, Your servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers. And they said to Pharaoh, We have come to dwell in the land, because there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the scarcity of food is severe in the land of Canaan. And now please let your servants sojourn in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, Your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Mizraim is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know of capable men among them, then make them chief herdsmen over my livestock. And Joseph brought in his father, Jacob, and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Jacob, How old are you? And Jacob said to Pharaoh, The days of the years of my sojourning are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of my life, years of my life, and they have not reached the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their sojourns. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. So Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Mizraim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramsey, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph provided his father and his brothers, all his father's household, with bread for the mouth of the little ones. Now there was no bread in all the land, because the scarcity of food was very severe. And the land of Mizraim and all the land of Canaan became exhausted from the scarcity of food. And Joseph gathered up all the silver that was found in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Canaan, for the grain which they bought. And Joseph brought the silver into Pharaoh's house. And when the silver was all spent in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Canaan, all the Mizraims came to Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For the silver is gone. And Joseph said, Give your livestock, and I give you bread for your livestock, if the silver is gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread to exchange for the horses, and for the flocks they owned, and for the herds they owned, and for the donkeys. Thus he fed them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. And when that year had ended, they came to him the next year, and said to him, We do not hide from my master that our silver is all spent. My master also has the livestock we own. There has not been left any before my master, but our bodies in our lands. Why should we die before your eyes? Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and let us and our land be servants of Pharaoh. And give us seed, and let us live and not die, and let the land not lie waste. And Joseph bought the entire land of Misraim for Pharaoh, because every man in the Misraim sold his field, because the scarcity of food was severe upon them, and the land came to be Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he moved them into cities, from one end of the borders of Misraim to the other. Only the ground of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had from what Pharaoh gave them by law, and they ate that which Pharaoh gave them by law. Therefore they did not sell their ground. And Joseph said to the people, Look, I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh. And Joseph said to the people, Look, I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall be that in the harvest you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh, and 4/5 is your own, as seed is for the field and for your food, and for those of your households, and not as food for your little ones. And as food for your little ones. And they said, You have saved our lives. Let us find favor in the eyes of my master, and we shall become Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Misraim to this day, that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the ground of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Misraim, in the land of Goshen, and they had possessions there, and were fruitful, and increased exceedingly. Alright, now we're moving on to the prophet side of things. Ezekiel 37, 15 through 28. Page 568. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, And you, sons of men, take a stick for yourself, and write on it, for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Take another stick, and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. Then bring them together for yourself into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand. And when the children of your people speak to you, saying, Won't you show us what you mean by these? Say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, I am taking the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his companions, and I shall give them unto him, with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall become one in my hand. And the sticks on which you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. And speak to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, I am taking the children of Israel from among the nations, whatever they have gone, and shall gather them from all around, and I shall bring them into their land. And I shall make them one nation in the land, on the mountain of Israel. And one sovereign shall be sovereign over them all, and let them no longer be two nations. and let them no longer be divided into two reigns. And they shall no longer defile themselves with the idols, nor with their disgusting matters, nor with any of their transgressions. And I shall save them from their dwelling places in which they have sinned. And I shall cleanse them, and they shall be my people, and I shall be their Elohim. While David my servant is sovereign over them, and they shall all have one shepherd, and walk in my right rulings, and guard my laws, and shall do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Jacob my servant, where your fathers dwelt, and they shall dwell in it, they and their children, and their children's children forever, and my servant David be their prince forever. And I shall make a covenant of peace with them, an everlasting covenant that is with them. And I shall place them and increase them, and shall place my set apart place in the midst forever. And my dwelling place shall be over them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the nations shall know that I, Yahweh, am setting Israel apart when my set apart place is in their midst forever. The end of the prophet side of things. We're reading Luke 24:20 through 48, page 1019. But we're going to 20. And the chief priests and our rulers delivered him, Yeshua, to be condemned to death and impale him. We, however, were expecting that it was he who was going to redeem Israel. But besides all this, today is the third day since these matters took place. But certain women of ours who arrived to the tomb early also astonished us when they did not find his body. They came saying that they had also seen a vision of messengers who said he was alive. And some of those with us went to the tomb and found it, as also the women had said. But they did not see him, Yeshua. And he said to them, O thoughtless ones, and slow of heart, to believe in all the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer these and to enter into his esteemed glory? And beginning at Moshe and all the prophets, he was explaining to them all the scriptures, the matters concerning himself. And they approached the village where they were going, and he seemed to be going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, Stay with us, for it is toward evening, and the day has declined. And he went in to stay with them. And it came to be when he sat at the table with them, having taken the bread, he blessed, and having broken it, he was giving it to them. And their eyes were opened, and they recognized him. And he disappeared from their sight. And they said to each other, Was not our heart burning within us as he was speaking to us on the way, and as he was opening the scriptures to us? And rising up the same hour, they returned to Jerusalem and found the 11, those who were with them gathered together, saying, The Master is truly risen and has appeared to Simon Peter. And they related what took place on the way and how he was recognized by them in the breaking of the bread. And as they were saying this, Yeshua himself stood in the midst of them and said to them, Peace to you. And being startled and frightened, they thought they had seen a spirit. And he said to them, "Why are you troubled? And why do doubts arise in your hearts? See my hands and my feet. That is I myself. Handled me. See, for a spirit does not have flesh and bones, as you see I have." And saying this, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they were still not believing it for joy and marveling, he said to them, "Have you any food here?" And he gave them a piece. And he gave them a piece of broiled fish and some honeycomb. And taking it, and they gave him a piece of broiled fish and some honeycomb. And taking it, he sat in their presence. He ate in their presence. And he said to them, "These are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you." That all have to be filled that was written in the Torah of Moshe and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me. Then he opened their minds to understanding the scriptures, and said to them, "Thus it has been written, and so it was necessary for the Messiah to suffer and to rise again from the dead the third day, and that repentance and forgiveness of sins should be proclaimed in his name to all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And you are witnesses of these matters." Okay, last segment here, Acts 3, 13 through 26, page 1054. The Elohim of Abraham and Isaac and of Jacob, Elohim of our fathers, esteem, glory, his servant Yeshua, whom you delivered up and denied in the presence of Pilate, when he had decided to release him. But you denied the set apart and righteous one, and asked that a murderer, be granted you. But you killed the Prince of Life, whom Elohim raised from the dead, of which we are witnesses. And by the belief in his name, this one whom you see and know, his name made strong, and the belief which comes through him, has given him this perfect healing before all of you. And now, brothers, I know that you did it in ignorance, as your rulers did too. But this is how Elohim has filled what he has announced beforehand through the mouth of the prophets, that his Messiah was to suffer. Repent, therefore, and turn back for the blotting out of your sins, in order that times of refreshing might come from the presence of the Master, and that he sends Yeshua Messiah, pre-appointed for you, whom heaven needs to receive until the time of restoration of all matters, of which Elohim spoke through the mouth of all his set apart prophets since of old. For Moshe truly said to the fathers, Yahweh your Elohim shall rise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. Him you shall hear according to all matters, whatever he says to you. And it shall be, every being whom does not hear that prophet shall be utterly destroyed from among the people. Deuteronomy 18:15 through 19. And likewise, all the prophets who have spoken to Samuel, and those following have also announced these days. You are sons of the prophets and of the covenant which Elohim made with our fathers, saying to Abraham, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. To the first Elohim, having raised up his servant Yeshua, sent him to bless you, in turning away each one of you from your wicked ways. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.